Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our masterclass this evening. I'm really excited to talk about the embodiment of the chakras with movement, looking at how these are going to regulate the nervous system, keep us steady, keep us grounded and centered in these extraordinary times in which we're living. So I'm going to introduce Tamrin. Tamrin is an accredited healer at the School of Intuition and Healing, or the International School of Intuition and Healing. She is a yoga teacher. She has a private practice which is built up um, over the last few years in the United Kingdom. And she is also a tutor on the healing course. Then we have Richard. Richard is an accredited healer. He is a sound healer. He works with the breath and sound and works with a very grounded approach with movement. And again, is going to support us in embodying the structures. So, a welcome to him. I'm going to let them say hi and tell you a little bit about themselves as well. So, Tamrin, over to you and a warm welcome.
Yes, thank you so much, Cindy. Hello, everyone. I feel you can probably tell by this big smile on my face that I'm feeling really excited and really the feeling that I sort of, when I was preparing for today, gratitude. I am immensely grateful for all of you joining me here tonight, taking time out of your busy schedules and going on this exploration together for this really important work. So thank you so much for joining Richard and I. We have really enjoyed our journey sort of coming to tonight, taking our own deep dive into the chakras. And we want to share with you tonight some of the practices that we've shared together and what we have learned about the chakras through our own introspection and work. So, as Cindy said, my name is Tamrin. You could probably hear from the accent. I'm originally from South Africa, Cape Town, and I now reside very far away from the coast in Dunstable. And I have a private practice here. I run yoga classes here. And really, I have been working with the chakras for several years, for a very long time. And my understanding of the chakras has evolved and has grown, and it's become more integrative. A large part of that understanding has come from my work with the school, teaching and working with students, and also working with clients, and my own exploration of the chakras. So tonight, we're going to focus a little bit less on the theory. There is so much information out there on the chakras right now. They're pretty firmly in the zeitgeist, right? In pop culture. We've all probably seen these colors, these chakras in some way or another. But tonight, we're really going to focus on your experience on the chakras and how you come to experience specifically the three chakras that we will be working with. Now, it's also to say that just because we're working with the three doesn't mean that we're not benefiting the other chakras as well. Just like the body might be made up of parts, it still works together as a whole. And sometimes for us in the West to understand things as a whole can be a bit challenging because so much of our allopathic medicine and our science and medicinal or medical field looks at things in parts, but really we function as a whole. The kidney cannot function without the body cannot function without the kidney, the heart kind of keeps the body going. So we got to function together as a whole. And so it is the same with the chakras. As much as we can think of them in parts, really they work holistically together. And we can also think about how we can tap into breath, into sound, into language, into meditation, into visualization. as all these different ways to work with the energy of our chakras. So tonight we're going to be focusing specifically on the base, the heart, and the crown. And Richard and I are going to be taking you through some of these practices to connect with your base chakra, your heart chakra, and your crown chakra. So we intentionally haven't included slides or picture references because we want you to truly experience the chakras for yourself without putting this mental layer on top, right? Without kind of putting it into a box. So really being open to the exploration tonight. If breath work is new to you, or some of these practices that we're going to be doing of a bit of somatic body awareness is new to you, that's okay. Come with what I call a compassionate curiosity and be open to what comes up for you tonight, right? Be open to, maybe even if you're quite adept in exploring the chakras, be open to experiencing something new tonight and seeing what you can extrapolate from this experience. So just to speak a little bit about the chakras generally and as a whole, and how I've really come to understand them in practice and working with them, is we can think of the chakras as these energetic points throughout the body that bring rise to this physical manifestation of the body. So in other words, we can think about the analogy of building a house. So when we build a house, we can maybe think that it starts as a thought or an idea. So it starts in the conscious. And then we take that idea, we take that thought, and we make a blueprint, right? And we work with certain experts, the right kind of tools, and then we build the house, right? We then apply action, we apply force, and we create the house, the physical structure that started as an idea. And so the chakras can be this blueprint to different aspects of our lives. It can be the way that it shows energetic patterns, the way our beliefs and ideas and thoughts can then sit in these energy centers that give rise to physical manifestations in the body or physical manifestations in our environment. Now, as I mentioned, we need to look at the chakras together. So just as much as we're working on the three, each one influences and impacts the other. Just like it takes a foundation and walls and a door and windows to build the home, so it is, we need the foundation, we need the walls and the structure, and we need the roof. We need all of the chakras to be working together in a harmonious way. And I use that word harmonious way lightly, in that what works for you, what's harmony for you, what's balance for you, and also what season you are in. So that might look different for wherever you are arriving in the space tonight. So really thinking about this holistically in our lives, and also looking at this practically. So it's not a esoteric out there concept, but really looking at this practically of how can we apply this into our lives in practical and proactive ways. So that's just a little bit of the chakras as a whole. And I'm going to hand over to Richard, who's going to touch a little bit of the history, the lineage of the chakras, and give us just a little bit of insight into how the system came about.
Thank you, Tamrin. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. Some familiar faces, which is really lovely. So yeah, as Tamrin said, we're going to talk a little bit about moving this from conceptual to a lived experience. And I'll give you some context about where the chakras come from. This may be something that you're already aware of, or this may be information that you've hearing for the first time. And something that I find quite useful when approaching a subject that even potentially we feel that we know quite a lot about is having a beginner's mindset. Because to the beginner, the possibilities are endless. To the expert, the possibilities are very small. So if we come to this with an open mind, we can hopefully have a new experience. So the word chakra comes from Sanskrit, and it's often translated, sorry, as wheel or turning. And these energy centers, they were first referenced in the Vedic texts, and they were understood to be places where life force, consciousness, and the physical body meet. And over time, they've been described as 7 primary centers that run along the spine, starting from the base all the way up to the crown. And each chakra relates to different aspects of our human experience, our sense of safety, our emotions, our capacity to act, to love, to express, to perceive, and also to connect to something greater than ourselves. And an important thing to know about the chakra system is it didn't originate as a belief system or a philosophy to study. And it wasn't discovered through analysis or through theory. It emerged through meditation and direct inner experience. So yogis didn't sit down and decide what the chakras should be. They sat and they listened deeply to the body, and they noticed patterns that repeated again and again. And this has been replicated across human experience, across societies and cultures. So when we're talking about the chakras, we're not talking about something that you need to believe in. We're talking about something that you can experience right now, whether that's sensation, awareness, emotion, energy, stillness. And these are things you already know how to feel. And that's the spirit of this workshop. So while we're going to share some guidance and some context, like our focus here isn't on memorizing information. It's about embodiment and noticing what's happening within your body as we move through these practices and feeling into the subtle layers of your own experience. So embodiment means allowing the mind, body, and spirit to be in conversation with one another. So letting this spiritual awareness live inside the body and being here right now with your breath, with your sensations, and just being present. So as we're going to be working with the chakras today, let's invite you to stay curious rather than analytical. And you might feel some different sensations, some warmth, some heaviness, perhaps openness, emotion, or maybe nothing very clear at all. And all of that is very welcome, and there's no correct experience that needs to happen today. So what matters is that you stay connected to yourself, grounded, present, and honest. And the chakras reveal themselves not through effort, but through attention, not through forcing, through listening. So everything we explore today is an invitation, and you're always welcome to move at your own pace, to pause, to ground, or to just simply observe what's going on for you. And it's a space for direct experience, for meeting yourself where you are, and just allowing that awareness to unfold from there. And yeah, that being said, I'm going to pass you back to Tamrin, and we're going to get into some experiences.
Thank you so much for that, Richard. I think that is such a beautiful way to really bring us into where we're going to bring our first focus tonight, which is the base chakra, the root chakra, known as the Muladhara chakra in Sanskrit, which means root and foundation. And what I really want us to experience tonight is this rooting within, because we cannot expand, we cannot build the house unless the foundation has been set. And as Richard said, this is about experiencing where you feel rooted in your life tonight. And there might be things that come up through this experience that maybe you weren't aware of, or maybe you are aware of. And I just invite you to really hold yourself in a non-judgmental space, just to hold yourself with so much compassion. And again, just come with that childlike curiosity with exploration. So our root chakra is very much this sense of being at home in the body. It is our foundation in our body and in our energy. And it is the connection that we have very much to Mother Earth. So the element associated with the root chakra is the earth element, which is this foundational energy, right? Which springs forth life, which life can expand from when being rooted in the soil. So some practical considerations we can think about when we consider the base chakra is your immediate environment, your home life, and what in your home life feels stable or maybe unstable, that maybe doesn't support stability in your life. So we can look at diet, we can look at things in our environment that help us to feel a little bit more safe, a little bit more at ease. So maybe it's, I love putting on a candle or getting a comfortable chair with my work. It can really be simple things like that consider your stability and safety in your home and in your environment. We can also think about stability in our lives in terms of what practices am I engaging in, what habits do I have in my life that help me to feel stable and safe, secure, and grounded. So if you know me, I'm someone who's not very good at time management. That's something I've really had to work on, and I'm still working on. But I know that in order for me to feel really grounded and to be, on time, to make time management a really considerate part of my day, I have to make sure that I feel grounded, that I am present, that I'm aware of my surroundings. So I'm really being practical about how can I create more stability through my day. So these are some of the practical considerations we can take of the base chakra, the root chakra, and how this might manifest into our lives and how we can work with the root chakra in a really practical way. Tonight, we are going to experience the root chakra by bringing an awareness to the lower part of the body through breath, through body awareness, and through some somatic touch. So just to set us up for the breath work, I'm going to invite you to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. So when we do this, it cues the nervous system to come into a state of rest. So our nervous system exists in different states, and one state is not necessarily better than the other. You might have heard, flight or fight. It's okay to have flexibility between these nervous system states, but we're going to allow ourselves to drop into the parasympathetic nervous state, which is the state of rest and digest, which kind of prepares us to receive a lot of the information tonight, and it's going to help us to feel very safe in the body. What's really interesting about the chakras is they are connected to the nervous system, to different nervous system plexus in the body. And so the base chakra is connected to a nervous system plexus in the body that helps us to feel stable and grounded. And one of the things I'm also going to invite us to engage with tonight is a little bit of pelvic floor engagement. So if you're a mom, you maybe have heard of Kegel exercises or something of that nature. If you go to yoga, you've maybe heard of the Mula Bandha lock. So I'm going to cue you to do some pelvic floor engagement when you're breathing in and up and sending the breath up, and then releasing as you're sending the breath out. So if you're not sure what that is, I think sometimes the best example is think about when you want to go to the bathroom and you're sort of squeezing and holding it. That's kind of the best analogy I can give. If you're not really sure, what you're doing, just think about drawing in the energy from your pelvic floor, so from the pelvis, and we're going to work with that tonight and the breath. You can all please have your kind of journals on hand, because we're going to be working with some affirmations, and we are going to explore the power that words and language can have, and how working with affirmations can be really powerful when working with the breath and the energy and our body. So with that, I'm going to kind of stop it there, and we're going to dive into the first practice of this evening. And I'm going to invite you to close down the eyes. So get really comfortable in your seat, maybe some shifting side to side, maybe pulling the shoulders up, letting them drop. So whatever kind of day you've had, whatever kind of week you've had, just let that drop off the body. Let go of any tension in the neck to get out all the niggles and the wiggles. And then I just invite you into this beautiful space of stillness. And all I want you to do for now is to notice your breath. So no shifting, no changing. Just notice the quality of the inhale and your exhale. Notice where there might be any tension in the body. And just allow any areas that there's gripping or holding on just to soften and release into the seat beneath you. From here, I invite you to bring your hands to the really lower part of the belly. Doesn't matter which hand goes on top of the other, but just bringing both hands to the lower belly. And just begin to sense that lower part of the belly. Maybe you're starting to feel some sensations as you draw your awareness to this part of the body. Maybe there's some things or feelings, sensations that are feeling alive, that are arising. Just allow yourself to be with that. And then gently begin to deepen the breath. So start to take some deeper inhales and longer exhales. And just notice as you begin to deepen the breath, how is the lower body or the abdomen responding? How is the mind responding? Maybe there's some thoughts coming in and out. Know that that's okay. Now bring your awareness to the entire pelvic region. The bones, the muscles, the hips, the joints. Bring your awareness to the thighs. Maybe sensing some sensations. The knees, the shins, the ankles, and then finally the feet, and feeling your feet against the ground beneath you. Getting a deep sense of the lower body that is connected to the upper body. Knowing that this lower part of our body is the foundation of our body that carries us through life. And the upper body cannot function without the lower body, and the lower body cannot function without the upper body. Just get a sense of how grounded you feel in this part of the body. Can you feel the sit bones against the seat beneath you? And just sense whether this part of your body feels stable, feels solid, feels foundational. Now begin to breathe in through the nose and imagine that you could send the breath all the way down into the pelvic region where the base chakra resides. And then as you exhale, send that breath up the body and out the mouth. Breathe in through the nose. And now we're going to do that pelvic floor engagement. And then on the exhale, let the sit bones relax as you let the breath out the mouth. Let's do this for 4 more rounds. Breathing in through the nose, down into the base of the body, feeling the pelvic floor draw in. And as you exhale, relaxing and sending the breath out. Breathing in. Breathing out. 2 more rounds. Breathing in, sending the breath down into the pelvis, engaging the pelvic floor. And then exhale, softening and releasing out. Let's take 1 more here. Breathe in through the nose, sending down into the base of the body, engaging the base of the body. And then exhale. Release and let it go. Take some time just to sense that lower part of the body once more. Maybe there's some stirring, some sensation moving in the lower part of the body. Or maybe there's no sensations. And that's an observation in and of itself. There's no right or wrong, only where you are at in your experience. And then I invite you to contemplate some of these questions I'm about to pose and allow your intuitive self to be guided towards the answer. Trust that the answer will arise. What does safety mean for you? What does safety mean for you? What does stability mean for you? What does stability look like for you? Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, let it go. Knowing that whatever's come up is okay. Maybe it's colors, maybe it's sensations, maybe it's thoughts, maybe it's images. Just allowing whatever to arise to arise. Gently start to bring your awareness back to your breath. Sense those sit bones beneath the seat. And then when you're ready, You can gently open the eyes. And if you've got your journal and your pen, maybe you would like to journal what came up for you through that experience. Journaling can be really grounding, a really grounding practice of bringing pen to paper, of writing our experience down, of applying action to the insights, of starting to work with the integration. If you're not a journaling person, that's okay too. Maybe you doodle, maybe you draw an image, maybe you make a symbol. What meaning do you make from that experience? And then if you would like, we are opening up the space. If you want to share some of your insights in the comments, you can. Maybe something that came up for you that is surprising, interesting, curious. Like I said, there's no right or wrong here. Everyone is on a different journey. And often when we share, we can learn so much from one another and share in the experience of what someone else might be going through. I'm going to give us a couple of seconds just to write and explore. And also notice maybe sensations. Was it uncomfortable to be in the lower body? Is there pain in the lower body? Did it feel really nice to be in the lower body? Maybe it was everything in between. Just kind of explore what came up for you during this experience. And then I see I've got one comment here from Sammy. Thanks, Sammy. Safety is a feeling for me, and it's about feeling loved. That makes me feel safe and stable. That's really beautiful. And I think that speaks so much to what we were sharing in the beginning, that each chakra influences and integrates with one another. Because often we associate the heart chakra with love, but really, love can be experienced at all levels of our being and through all different expressions. Safety for me is family. Yeah, so that sense of belonging, which all of us want to feel in some kind of way. And maybe that's not your biological family, maybe that's a chosen family. Free from fear. Absolutely. When we feel safe in the body, when we feel safe in our environment, there isn't this fear residing that causes the nervous system or the body to sort of be tense and looking over the shoulder. Stability came up as a routine. Yeah. Someone like me, I travel a lot. You know, I go see clients. I have a treatment room. I go to London to teach. I had to be really mindful about setting up stable routines. I'm going to read one last one here. This is really beautiful insights. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. Yes, it can be represented by external things, people, but it's more about an internal state. Absolutely. When I'm grounded energetically, I feel safe. And then I missed that last bit there because I have some more comments coming in. Beautiful. So absolutely, I love that as a beautiful closing comment, that this grounding, this rootedness is from within. This feeling of safety comes from within. And that's not to say that we don't have external influences or environment that can influence a sense of unsafety. We are human after all. But to know that to feel grounded and to feel safe in the body can start within, which then expresses without. I'm going to invite you to put down your pens and journals again. And we're going to come back into a space of meditation, a space of drawing inward. And we're going to explore a little bit of affirmations. So with a lot of chakra work, they use affirmations and mantra as a way to seed intention into the chakra, a way to input and influence the energy of our chakras in a positive way. So we're going to explore perhaps how using some affirmations and words, how that might feel in our energy. And that's not to say you might say an affirmation and it might not feel great saying it. And again, it's just an exploration of where and how that feels in your energy. So I invite you all to close your eyes once more, putting down your journal and pen. And again, just bring your awareness to your breath. Sorry, I had Gaia come say hello. I was like, I'm gonna keep rolling with it, but I think she was feeling some of this grounding energy, and she literally crawled in right under my desk to my feet. Her safety, right? Okay, so I invite you just to come back, just close the eyes, bring the awareness back to the breath. Just begin to deepen the breath. And if it felt nice to hold the lower belly, you can. If it felt nice to connect, you can. If you want to keep the hands relaxed in your lap, you can. And now I want you to look deeper beyond the physical body and explore the energy that resides here in the pelvic region of the body, the Muladhara chakra. And just sense how you experience this energy. Perhaps there's a color that comes to mind, there's a sensation that comes to mind. Just come with curiosity as you feel the energy here. Now, as you take a deep breath in through the nose and send that breath down into the base, can you expand the energy of your base chakra? Inhale through the nose, send it down into the pelvic region, and again expand the energy of your base chakra. Take another round of breath in through the nose, send that breath down into the pelvic region, into the chakra, expanding the base, expanding its circumference around the lower part of the body. And just get a sense of how it feels to expand your base chakra. How does it feel to expand the sense of rootedness within and to expand that energy without? Now, within the mind's eye or with your mics off, you can repeat this out loud. I am rooted. I am connected to my stability within. I am connected to my stability within. I am grounded. I am present. and then simply I am. Just get a sense of how it felt to speak those words over yourself and over your energy. And maybe there was some resistance, maybe there was some discomfort, and know that that's okay too. All parts are welcome. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Give me a big sigh out the mouth. Bring the hands together. Create some friction and warmth. Place them over the eyes. Blink the eyes open on the inside of the hands. Also a lovely way to ground back in the body by touching the face, touching the body. And then when you're ready, just dropping the hands away. Lovely, fantastic. Okay, so hopefully you're all feeling nice and grounded. And if you're not, if you're still kind of working with that energy, that's okay too. You know, come back to that feeling of the feet against the floor, of that sense of rootedness within, and working with some of those affirmations. Okay, so I'm gonna segue now to Richard. So we're feeling really, hopefully, rooted and grounded. And we're going to actually move to the crown chakra and then center back in the heart as our final practice. So, Richard, over to you.
Thank you very much. That was beautiful. And yeah, we're going to build on from there, and we're going to move up to the crown chakra. So, I'll give a little context, some examples, and then we'll get into the practice. So the crown chakra is slightly different from the other chakras because it isn't located fully inside the physical body. So it sits on the top of the head, and it's often experienced as spaciousness, openness, or an awareness. It represents our connection to the divine, to that vast field of awareness beyond our thoughts. And it reminds us that we're held by something greater, by life itself. So when the crown is open and balanced, we experience a sense of trust, of surrender, and a quiet reverence for being alive. So I'll give you a simple example of this, how this could show up in daily life. So imagine being on holiday, you're walking along the beach, scenery's beautiful, you're with people that you love, your body's relaxed, nervous system fully settled. You're not rushing anywhere, you're not analyzing the moment, you're simply in it. Your feet are grounded in the sand, your breath is easy, and there's just this natural sense of presence. And then something opens. There's a feeling of awe or quiet wonder, a sense of gratitude for being alive, for being here, for being in this moment, and for this moment even existing at all. And you might not have words for that feeling. Perhaps it's more a sense, a softness, a gentle openness. That feeling, that open, receptive awareness, that's a living expression of the crown chakra. And it arises not because you tried to access it, but because the body felt safe and grounded and relaxed enough to receive it. And just to name a little contrast in that, if the body doesn't feel grounded or safe, the crown energy can feel very different. So instead of a spaciousness, there could be a disconnection, a spaciness, a feeling of being up in the head, of being unanchored, and not really in the present moment, feeling slightly removed from what's going on at that time. And that isn't a failure, it's simply information. And it tells us that the nervous system just needs some more grounding before the expansion can take place. And that's why grounding is so essential. So the crown doesn't open through effort or through force. It opens when the body feels safe enough to soften and to receive. So in what we're going to do tonight, the crown work is not going to be something that we do by reaching upwards or by leaving the body. Our capacity to open a crown is directly related to the chakras below. So especially the root. The deeper we can ground, the safer it becomes to expand and the higher we can go. So today we're going to explore this energy in an embodied way. So we're going to be rooted, present, and gently receptive. And we're going to allow this connection to arise rather than forcing it. So we really want to try and stay in the body and not float off into the ether. So we're going to go on a bit of a meditation journey, and we're going to build on the beautiful work that we just did with Tamrin with the root chakra. So yeah, just before we start, just to let you know roughly what we're going to be doing, we're going to be using all of our physical senses during this meditation. So our sight, our hearing, our physical touch, taste, smell, perhaps. I'm going to invite you to kind of sense into your energy as well within your body and perhaps within your aura. If that's not something you've done before, it's an invitation to just observe and see what comes up. So with that being said, I invite you all to just make yourselves comfortable, feet flat on the ground, if that feels right, whichever way, if you're sat on the floor, whatever feels most grounding for you. Gently close down the eyes. And just take a nice, slow, deep breath in. And as you exhale, just feel yourself gently softening into this moment. Your body supported, your breath steady, your awareness awakening. So begin by bringing your attention down to the base of your spine and feeling into that stability, that groundedness that you've already cultivated. Sense the earth beneath you, unwavering, patient, and alive. And just allow this strength to rise up through your body, through your heart, and all the way to the crown of your head. And from this sacred bridge between earth and sky, invite in a gentle wave of gratitude. Gratitude for yourself, for showing up, for choosing growth, for saying yes to your own becoming. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it asks more of you, you arrive. Breathe that acknowledgement into your heart space. Then extend your awareness outward to the universe, to spirit, to life itself. Gratitude for the vast intelligence that created you, for every cell, every breath, every unseen force that conspired to bring you here now. Feel how these countless threads of existence have woven together perfectly to create this sacred present moment. Now that we've established this connection, this rooted gratitude, we're going to begin to gently raise our vibration, staying grounded. Begin to draw in higher frequencies of light and awareness and let them flow through you, not from striving, but from allowing. I invite you to feel this with all of your senses. Feel it physically, perhaps as a warmth, a tingling, maybe a gentle expansion. Hear it audibly, maybe a hum, a subtle tone, or even the soft rhythm of your own breath. See it in your mind's eye, maybe colors, light, movement, or simply presence. And sense it in your aura, energy expanding, vibrating, and harmonizing. Now hold the intention of raising your vibration, but do not force. Simply allow. You are held always by spirit, by life, by love. And if at any point this energy feels too strong or it feels unfamiliar, you can pause and just settle back into your grounding. There's no rush, no pushing, only flow. Trust what feels right for you. Breathe here between earth and sky, between stillness and expansion, between gratitude and grace. Rooted and radiant. I invite you to gently start to bring your attention back to your physical body, to your breath. Feeling the weight of your body on the chair beneath you. Taking your time, there's no rush to come back. Checking in with your base, reaffirming your groundedness, your safety, Fully landing back in the physical body. When it feels right for you, you can perhaps start to incorporate some small physical movements, wiggling the fingers and the toes. Take a nice final deep breath. When the time feels right for you, you can slowly open your eyes. We got everybody back. Okay, so now that we're back, I'm going to invite you to just take a few moments to journal or reflect. You can share in the chat some of the sensations that you felt during that meditation, how it felt for you, this embodied experience of the crown chakra. And there are no right or wrong answers. And these experiences may evolve over time. If you revisit this practice at any point, it may feel very different. Just give everyone a few more moments to reflect. Feel free to share anything in the chat if you want to. Thank you, Sammy. Feels like grounded expansion can safely explore the cosmos. Exactly that. Once we're safely rooted firmly in our base chakra connected to the earth, it enables us to then reach up and out and bring those lessons and information back rather than escaping into the crown, you know. That's exactly what we're looking for. Personal stillness with gentle movement forward. Beautiful. Makes sense why not being grounded leads to overthinking. Yeah, very much so. You can certainly get lost up there and it can take over when yeah, it's something that I noticed within myself in previous years of using the crown chakra as a method of escape when things get difficult. I just float off up there and everything will be lovely and I'll come back in a little while and yeah, it wasn't much of an embodied experience, but I've learned that, as I say, the deeper we ground, the higher we can go. And we can actually then use these experiences in our daily lives and it makes us better at life rather than just something to feel better for a few moments. So, oh, that's fantastic. I'm very glad to hear that, Sammy. Thank you for sharing that. It's been much happier since being more grounded. That's amazing. So, now that we've been on a little journey, I'm going to pass you back to Tamrin and we're going to bring this all together in the heart space and round off our embodied experience. So, Tamrin, back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Richard. I can just feel how the energy just swelled with that meditation, and that was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for that exploration. And it's absolutely that when we are rooted, when we are grounded, when we are in the body, we can expand to much greater heights, not only in the consciousness, but in our lives as well. So the root, the crown, and the heart are considered paired chakras. And just as I was mentioning earlier, they work together, the chakras in totality, but also the root and the heart and the crown have quite an influence on each other. And we can think about when we maybe receive insights, inspiration, when we connect to something greater. It's important that as we've been sort of beating this drum, rooting it back into this reality, but then also bringing it into the heart, the beautiful energy of the heart that is this core of our being, our true nature, our seat of compassion. One of the things I always think about with the heart chakra is when we gesture to who we are, we say, I am Tamrin, I am Gaia. You can see this with children as well. You place your hand on your heart to gesture to who you are. So there's this connection here that we have this inherent knowing that we are connected to a divine nature. And our energetic heart is that divine nature within, right? That we have the beautiful opportunity to express in this lifetime. So the energy of the heart is the seat of compassion. It is this core of our being. And we can also think about how it is connected to, very interestingly, the cardiac plexus, which is this intricate network of nerves that run across the chest, but also our vagus nerve, the wandering nerve which runs down the spine and very much regulates our emotions. And if we think about the heart, and it really is this emotional seat as well, this where we can feel, we use language such as a heartbreak, and we can feel that quite physically in the body, or I'm heart sore. So it's quite an emotional space as well. So it's really interesting to me that it's connected to the vagus nerve that creates this emotional state that we might be in the body and in the mind and in our energy. What was also really fascinating for me when I was kind of diving into the research of the energetic heart, but also how this is connected to the physical heart. Our physical heart has an electromagnetic biofield, right? This is science. An electromagnetic biofield that emits in several directions around us. It is the part of the body that has the largest influence of an electromagnetic biofield that informs our body about our emotional state, but also those around us. So our very heart, our very physical heart, is informing our environment and the people around us about our emotional state. So there's this beautiful connection here that the whole heart chakra encompasses, with this cardiac plexus, the vagus nerve, the physical heart. And we're going to feel into that tonight. We're going to explore a little bit of this heart space. And we're going to do that with humming breath. So if humming breath is new to you, so whenever I did this with my kids yogis back in Cape Town, it was their favorite because they got to make a noise. And you are very literally going to make a sound with the mouth, a hum, sound, and create these vibrations in the body. There's a few ways we can do this. You can close down the ears and close down the eyes, so thumb to the ears, close with the hands, and really sort of tune out everything and feel this vibration in the body. Or you can also put the hands on the chest and feel the vibrations in the chest. And we're going to connect to this area of the heart in a really somatic way, which simply means in a body, connect through the body. So once more, as we sort of come into the energy of the heart, maybe bringing some of those insights, coming back into the rootedness of our being. I just invite you to bring your hands to your heart, and particularly over the physical heart where you can sense the heartbeat. And I just invite you to close down your eyes. Start to deepen the breath once more. Begin to draw your senses inward. And I just want you to feel this physical beat of the heart underneath the hands. This heartbeat that is the very life of the body. And what you are connecting to is the rhythm of being alive. This beating heart that gives you life, that works automatically without you even needing to think about it. So perhaps just send some gratitude to the physical heart for giving you life, and gratitude for having this life, for having this experience of being human, and the fullness of what it means to be human, the full tapestry of emotions, feelings, experiences that are available to us. And then with that, we're going to explore some of this humming breath and feeling the vibrations of the humming moving through the body. So if you would like to keep the hands connected to the chest, you can. Or if you would like to close down the ears with the thumbs and close down the eyes with the hands, you can do that now. You'll take an inhale breath in through the nose, and on the exhale, give me a Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, create that humming sound and let that sound travel throughout the body, vibrating through the chest. Take one more big round of breath in, maybe your deepest inhale of the week thus far, and then exhale through that hum, allowing that sound, that vibrations to move through the body, feeling the sensations underneath the hands. Dropping the hands away from the eyes now. Bringing them back to the chest or dropping them in the lap, whatever feels comfortable for you. Now bring your awareness to the energetic heart found at the center of the chest, the anahata, unstruck sound. And just get a sense of the energy here. What are you feeling in the chest? What can you notice? And maybe there's an emotion that you would like to bring into the heart. Maybe that's joy, maybe that's peace, maybe that's comfort, intuitively feeling, what would I like to permeate through the heart into my being, into my body, into my energy. Consider that emotion, give it a word, Give it an image, give it a color. And then as you breathe in, I want you to imagine breathing that word into the heart, the energetic heart. And then exhale that hum, send that emotion out through the body. And we're going to repeat this for 3 more times. So breathing in through the nose, into the energetic heart. And then as you exhale, creating that hum, that vibration, sending that emotion, that state of being throughout the body. 2 more rounds here. Breathe in through the nose. And then exhale, send it out from the energetic heart, over the body, through your energy, and allow it to permeate the entirety of your being. 1 more time. Taking a deep inhale breath. And on the exhale, sending it into all areas and spaces of the body. Just take a moment to sense how that feels in the body. How it feels to hold that emotional state, that energy in the body. Start to come back to the physical body, feeling the sit bones in the seat beneath you, the feet on the floor, coming back to that sense of groundedness, that rootedness within, maybe shrugging shoulders, moving the neck. And then when you're ready, you can open the eyes. And I invite you again, if you like, you can take some pen to paper, maybe journal some insights. If you want to share a little bit of your experience in the comments, you can. Just allowing yourself to be in this beautiful energy of the heart, this compassionate energy. And give us a few more moments, and then I am mindful of the time. So I want us to sort of start bringing things to a close and just chatting about next steps of this work. And also, do we have time for questions, Cindy, or comments?
We have some time for some questions. I'm sure there might be some questions. Does anyone have any questions? Just pop them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. Nobody got any questions? I'm just popping a link in there. I was busy typing it up. Was connecting with Tamrin and connecting with Richard. There's some links over there if you're interested in following them. They both have very active Instagram pages, just saying. So please connect with them. Any questions? Yes. How can the other chakras fit into the work we've done tonight? That's a really good question. I don't know who wants to take that. Tamrin, are you going to take that?
Yeah, sure. So very much how we've explored sound and breath, body, visualization, meditation can be experienced through all the different chakras. So you might, the obvious ones is maybe the throat and exploring sound. In yoga, we use mudras as well, which is also a somatic practice that we can use with our chakras. But to extend beyond that, we could look at art expression, we could look as movement as an expression of our chakras. So one thing that really helps me to feel grounded is going for a run, right? That really gets me in my body a good sweat. It doesn't always have to be calm, cool, and collected. Sometimes it can be something really invigorated that upregulates our nervous system, and like working with the solar plexus, getting some of that fire going, right? We spoke about how things begin as ideas, but we need fire. We need that willpower from the solar plexus to bring things into action. So there's such a array of practices that we can engage with to work with the chakras in more embodied ways. That's not just meditation or stillness, but that really suits you and your lifestyle and can help you to explore and understand yourself in deeper ways. Yes, Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hello, Tamrin. Yeah, for you or Richard, I wondered if either of you have an opinion as it relates to grounding of, say, different either objects or stones or crystals, and how to go about maybe choosing something that works for oneself related to grounding, something that can kind of be maybe carried around as a reminder.
Richard, would you like
Yeah,
to take this?
absolutely. That's a very good point. There are many crystals that work very well for grounding. I've found with crystals especially, or any kind of talisman that we use, it's important to feel it out for yourself. Although, like, we can do some research, and we may know that tiger's eye can be very grounding, for example, but as an individual, it might not feel right for you. The vibration might not be quite aligned. So some research around that is great, but yeah, it's important to kind of feel that out. I very much wear crystals myself and find them very helpful, but yeah, as I say, kind of what works for one might not work for the other. So I think, especially with grounding, I've found it to be a very interesting exploration into what is most effective for me as an individual. I find in meditation, sitting on the ground is more grounding for me rather than having my feet on the ground. I prefer to have my base on the floor. Some people prefer to be sitting and visualize roots from their feet. So it can be an individual experience, but the exploration is fun. Barefoot in the woods is my personal favorite. So yeah, I invite you to explore and have fun with it and just see what works. And as with all of these experiences being embodied as we move through our lives and we change and we grow and we adapt, the things that we use and the practices that we use might change, and maybe we need to tweak them and adjust them over time. So it's, we can revisit them at any point and make adjustments where needed. So yeah, give it all a try and see what works.
Absolutely. And I think intention plays a really big role in that as well, in terms of when you are using a physical tool, what is the intention behind using that tool? So this candle and crystal is just a candle and crystal. But when I set it up with the intention of what am I, receiving and influencing with my energy in the space, that can really be valuable to helping you feel grounded or more expansive. Great. Thanks for that, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Any other questions? So Tamrin, you've got a couple of things happening. You running a chakra mini workshop or a mini course, and then also you've got. Sorry to the Cape Town people, you'll have to wait till Tamrin comes to Cape Town, but her and they'll have to manifest Richard to go with.
Yes.
But so just tell us, you've got the mini course that you're doing. And then you've also got the live event in London. I can't even remember when it is. So just if you want to just speak a little bit about that.
Yes, of course. So obviously tonight is really just a scratch the surface experience. And, as much as I'm very grateful for what technology can do to bring us all together, I'm even more excited being in person. And I think being in person and coming in person is so valuable. today, and we really need it. So Richard and I are offering a full one-day experience in London, which will be going through all of the chakras from the root all the way to the crown, where we are going to be exploring. The word that comes to mind is a smorgasbord of practices. We'll be looking at breath work, we'll be looking at yoga, we'll be looking at some creative expression, journaling, mudra, mantra, and we really want to keep it to a collective group and go on this journey collectively through the chakras and really explore the chakras in holistic and embodied ways. That is on the 1st of March. So if I'm correct, I think it's a Saturday and it's a full day event. And it is in Kentish Town at one of our venues. They're a lovely venue and a really special space where we teach our course as well. So if tonight has piqued your interest in any kind of way, if you want to learn about the chakras beyond just a theoretical perspective, you know, and really dive into this experience for yourself and understand yourself in far more deeper and connected ways, then we really invite you to this space on the 1st of March in London. We are really expectant and excited about it. And then I shall be running a little chakra series just via email. You can go to my website and sign up for my newsletter. Well, I'll just be sharing a little practical prompt and practice for you to connect with your chakras. We'll kind of move through the chakras root to crown on a weekly basis, kind of leading up to the workshop. So, and even if you're not coming to the workshop, it's a nice check-in for yourself to work with your energy centers. And my intention is to keep it simple, to keep it practical, and that you can apply it to your lives in really integrative and practical embodied ways.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Richard and Tamrin. You know, for me, the chakras really open my spiritual journey because it's such a good way of exploring, you know, things outside the head. So I just think you guys have done a beautiful job. Lovely to experience these different feelings and connections. We will send the recording out. If you've missed their details, they will be there. Reach out to either of them if you want any more information. Please remember, for those of you who are seekers, we have an energy management course on Saturday with Dennis. We've got a few places left. And those of you who are interested in being healers, book a chat. We don't have to commit. You don't need to do anything. Just book a chat with me. Our course starts mid-March, which I'm really excited for. And a lot of them are filling up. So thank you for joining us. Lovely to see so many familiar faces. Lovely to see some new faces. Thank you guys so much for presenting. The effort, the energy, the information was amazing. Good night, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Richard. Thank you all.
Great to see you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.